idea of the non-conference is to build momentum and do some jobs there early. I think we played teams that are going to help us along the way. UNO is going to win their share of games. They keep showing it. Wisco's definitely winning their games. So we've got to be good on that part. It's conference play. So now it's point collecting time, and it's going to get harder and harder to get all of the points you want every weekend. So we've got to find a way, I think, as a group, just to find the maturity that when you get a Friday game and you've got that, now that's got to be behind us, and now we got to attack the next 3 points without worried about the points that we already got or maybe didn't get.
You get a Falcon team this weekend that took a big step forward with the program last season. What is it that makes them a tough team to play against year after year?
Dennis, I think their coach. A lot of teams follow coaches' demeanors, leads. A very competitive guy. I think their group. He's built size. He's got skill. They skate. They've got enough youth mixture. We've got to take maybe into accountability, like, okay, they're maybe not as used to a conference schedule. Can we get into these? Some of the younger guys are playing some big roles for them. And obviously he's built a crop of goaltenders. I think they've all got equal time going on right now, and it's impressive at this time of year for goalies.
A lot of guys found the score sheet for you last weekend, but Evan Murr, with his point production over the last month, gets CCHA Defenseman of the Month. What is it he's doing well right now?
I think he's letting the game come to him a little bit. There's times a year ago where I know he was behind in the score sheet category early in the year, a year ago, but he was chasing, he was pushing, he was actually pushing wrong buttons at wrong times. The game has slowed down, and maybe he's just that sense of maturity has done him well. So, he's such a situationally based. We can use him in so many spots. But then I think the other part is you collect points on the power play, running a power play, then that definitely pads your point, collection part.
Open up for some questions now for Coach Luke. If you want, raise your hand or indicate. Mitch Vosberg.
Hey, Luke, good to talk to you again as always. How are you guys? What's the week of practice been like for you guys so far?
Hard. I think our organized play is good. We're pretty good on that. There's a lot to be happy with this past weekend. A couple weird scenarios happen and they go in the back of your net, which you can't stop weird all the time. But I do think there's some battles we've got to win inside of our structure, inside of being organized, and inside of the, everyone. If you look at a group of 5, there's a ton of everyone going on. So we've got to maybe rely less on structure and more on, like, okay, can we win that battle and make it personal? And that's been a pretty 48-hour period around here. Iron sharpens iron. So the harder we're defending, the harder it is on our offensive guys to generate, which is a good sign, which we want to be able to do live bullets.
Don Westfall.
Coach, updates on injuries. Are we close to seeing a few guys back in the lineup, or any prognosis on that?
I think orange is a good color on the way in. So we've got a couple of them in orange. Bonk's going to be out for a bit yet, and Huey's going to be out for pretty much the remainder of the year with the surgery he went through. So the other guys are getting close. We want to be really certain, though. It's going to be too valuable that those guys can come back from injury and be long-lasting versus in a rush. Frankly, to be right on that side is more valuable than not. So I don't know how many new bodies you see. Finn's probably the closest, but even at that point, we want to be certain that we can put him in situations and be reactive to what he needs to go through. I would tell you all of them, what they're going through. I'm impressed with their mental, where they're at, like, as far as their sharpness in meetings and being on top of things. So they're staying very connected. We just got to get them back on the ice.
Don, do you have a follow-up to that?
I do not.
Okay. Mitch?
Yeah, so when I left the RPI series, I know I walked away with face-offs have to improve, and the guy finally scoring even strength. When I left this past weekend, the face-off gap closed down so significantly, and all 6 goals were even strength. What do you want to see this team improve on this week?
It's good, Mitch. I think face-offs RPI. There's a young man named Sitar who is dynamite, and then face-offs against Wisconsin, a young man named Tolk that was outstanding. Those really skewed some numbers. I like critical face-offs, which probably isn't a stat that most people. There's no asterisk next to a column that talks about some critical timing of face-offs. So the 5-on-5 scoring was point of emphasis. Just probably trying to get a little more crowd around the net. And now for us, like it's the way can we just keep getting some depth scoring? The lineup's got to get longer, and the only way to get longer is just having more stacking of shifts and really pinning people back, which is going to really lead to possession. I think our possession numbers have been average for what we would like, and they're not bad, but they're just not where we want to get to. So puck protection and staying on things and just being a little more patient on that side is a real point right now. It's been hard the last 2 days.
Looking at lines 3 and 4, you didn't make any changes from Friday to Saturday. What's your philosophy in terms of what the aim is when lines 3 and 4 are out there? Are they a couple of groups that you just want to be hard to play against?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways to be hard to play against. Do you not give up many inches on the rink? Are you a group that has the puck more than not? Are you just really stiff defensively? If they don't really penetrate, they can maybe have the puck longer. I think for us, I would maybe put you on the spot and say what lines you're talking about. But at the same time, I think internally inside the game, to some of Mitch's comment about 5-on-5 goals went up. I think combinations changed along the way to the point where Don probably had to use an eraser to try to keep up with who's playing with who. And that's a little bit of a feel who's going and not going. And we just need a few more bodies to keep going and pushing that.